Callaghan George, 1 for 12. Townsend, 17 off his 2. And it's going to be Mike Rindle will be the next name typed in there. He's had a really good tournament with the ball, Mike Rindle. He's not a regular bowler. He's certainly not would be described as a bit bowler, because he bowls a bit more than that. But sort of fit into selectors' minds, certainly in the 4-day game when the Northern Gauteng selectors sit down, as Rindle being that much part of the bowling lineup. 1-day cricket, yes, or limited overs cricket, certainly. But he's hit the stumps a few times and got the ball to swing just a little bit. Bruce Yardley's left us, and we welcome back Shane Warne.
Yeah, thanks, Robin. Yeah, Mike Rindle, he's done very well throughout the tournament. I thought he's bowled well, he's bowled full, he's bowled at the stumps, and hasn't given the batsmen any room whatsoever to free their arms. So hopefully he doesn't prove me wrong, but he's done very well in this tournament.
He swung the ball as well. He swung it into the right-hander and just a little bit away from the right-hander from time to time. The stock ball is certainly back in. Changes the pace just a little bit, but he's bowled very straight. I think that's really been the key for Rindle. He's a nice little medium pace, so if he gets a bit of width on it, it can be scored off, but he's bowled very much stump to stump. And he does bowl one wide, but never mind, it's only one. There's, see the face of that. It's been to hospital. I think that's a very favourite back. It's pretty yellow. It looks like it's been in the sun a while. Oh yeah, it has been hospitalised. Look at it, all patched up. You get a hold of something you like, you keep sticking it together until it totally falls apart. And he likes this one. Good enough to hit over the fence. Poor delivery from Rindle. One of the few he's bowled. Full toss and well dealt with.
Yes, Rindle just looking to bowl the Yorker there right up in the block hole, but just getting a little bit too full. Bowled a full toss and Gavaskar dispatched it straight over the mid-wicket fence, and that bat does look pretty old, Robin, and maybe it was one of Sunhill's favourites and he's passed it on to his son to keep hitting those big sixes.
Rohan Gavaskar. Down on one knee when he hit that. A little bit like Ryan Kanai used to, whom he was named after. Kanai and Sunil, big buddies. With tremendous respect for one another as players. Hence my faux pas a few overs ago when he hit it through the covers. Down on one knee and get on. That'll be just one to Callaghan.
One of Gavaskar's real chances in this game to get up the order and have a bit of a hit. India falling just a little bit behind, and Gavaskar looking to pick the run rate up here. And I'm sure India are going to make it a close contest. Into the max zone, that one wanting to get a 4 or a 6, which meant it would be double, and just didn't quite get hold of it. Mongia just chipped it back over Rindle's head. You see the footwork, just his front foot, instead of going towards the ball, he just gave himself a little bit of room so he could swing the bat and hit him straight down the ground. Just didn't quite hit it as hard as he would have liked.
Callaghan misfield, but a quick recovery. Is it quick enough? We'll see. They've gone for the second. I think he's struggling. They say never run for a misfield. No, and Mongia knows he's struggling. He's not even looking around. He's on his way, so well done, Callaghan. error to begin with, but a good recovery and a perfect throw.
Yeah, just run that to third man. It looked like it was just going to be easy for Dave Callaghan. Just got a little bit of a bad bounce, went through his leg. Callaghan recovered quickly. Mongia, you see him turning here, was just expecting to run one, and then decided to come back to the second because he saw the misfield, and he was out by a long, long way. And the old adage, never run on a misfield. Mongia are out with 13. The score's 2 for 54.
Coming to the wicket now, number 3.
Robin Singh. Jadeja back in the hut. He was a serious threat to South Africa. And there's another one right here. Left-hander, Chris Pitter of the ball. Just one more look at that run out. Mongia plays it down to Callaghan. Runs the first one very quickly himself and is aware there's a second. He's watching. We can't see that right now, but look at this. Turn and throw all in one movement, and you can't get more accurate than that. In fact, if the keeper hadn't interfered, I think it might have hit direct anyway. But that was a risk that Van Dijk wasn't prepared to take.
Maybe Callaghan was foxing.
There's Hooksy.
And David Hooks has just stepped out of the commentary box for a little while. Robin Singh bowled very well this morning, got the ball moving away from the right-hander, and we showed over the last couple of days he can hit some long balls.
One. Justin Kemp, big tall lad. He must be 6'4". Full toss, and Robin Singh doesn't miss out on those. I beg your pardon, it's Gavaskar. Two lefties together confused me for a moment or two.
Yeah, the full toss again, just below the waist. Anything above the waist is a no ball, and Gavaskar was good enough to pick the gap in the field and hit it over the infield, and as soon as he hit it, he knew it was 4. And Gavaskar just mounting a challenge here for India.
That's up in the air. Callaghan's under it. It's got a good pair of hands normally, but he doesn't get either of them onto the ball. He just didn't seem to, I think he just misjudged that. Didn't seem to attempt to make enough ground to get under the ball, so one can only assume that he always felt in control and suddenly found he wasn't there.
It was a little bit wide of him, and he just turned a bit slowly, just misjudged it. And yeah, I think Dave Callaghan won't be too happy with that one. I think he probably should have caught that one. And I'm sure he'll make up. But we see there just a bit wide on Gavaskar, got off the toe of the bat. We see Callaghan turn, but just get a bit slow. He's a little bit too much side on. Saw him just out of his reach. He probably thought he had it covered, but just misjudged a little bit. And with those high balls with the catching, the most important thing is the first yard. As soon as it's in the air, to make that yard at the start, so then when you do it, when you are under the ball, you can just regain your composure and judge the ball. But Dave Callaghan had to try and do it all in the last minute there, and it all just happens very, very quickly.
Seven overs gone now, 63 for 2.
The end of the 7th over, 63 for 2.
So Robin Singh has got India's hopes pretty much on his shoulders. With Jadeja out for 14, he was a real threat early on. Ryan Gavaskar beginning to get into his stride now. He's been there a while for his 27. Playing nicely. And back off the roof. David Hooks rejoins us in the commentary box along with Shane Warne.
Thanks very much, Robin, and another boundary to Gavaskar. So just starting to skip into some form now. And quite a nice striker of the ball.
Yeah, the ball just a fraction over pitched, and Gavaskar was quick to... You watch his foot movement, he was just quick to move onto it. Nice swing of the bat, he was nicely balanced, head over the ball, and he could hit that where he wanted to. He's just starting to look in good touch at the moment now, Gavaskar.
Squeezing that one out, not trying to do anything untoward, just playing the ball on its merits. So roundabout on target, just over the halfway mark and just under the halfway total. So don't need to do anything extravagant for the Indians. Just make sure if they can, just at least one of these blokes be there up until the 12th or 13th over at least. And as soon as you say that, he's straight up in the air and safe.
Yeah, Robin Singh, his weight then was on the back foot. He wanted to hit all the way. The ball was full from Rindle, and unfortunately just tried to hit it a bit too hard, and his weight was on the back foot, which meant he had to hit it up in the air. We see him take a step forward, but his weight was too far on the back foot. It meant he couldn't get the movement through the ball.
We haven't really seen any captains be aggressive. I know that you've been a fan of getting the first slip in, but even particularly with Joshi bowling this morning with an extra man in the circle, or maybe an extra 2 men in the circle for a new batsman for a couple of balls, we haven't seen any of that.
No, and I think those tactics are a good tactic, David, just to put some extra pressure on the batsman. You know, there's only 6 fielders out there, and suddenly you see 4 of them in the ring. You start to feel the pressure on you that you have to go over the top. And the way Joshi's bowling this morning, he is turning the ball a lot. And I wouldn't mind seeing that. And maybe in the final, Australia, New Zealand, the 2 best teams in the competition, they might just try something like that.
Last ball of the 8th over coming up. That's the equation. So far 9 runs from the Mike Rindle over. And chipped away for Robin Singh to retain the strike. 8 overs gone. India 2 for 73.
Talking about Joshi, I think he has been one of the outstanding bowlers of this tournament the last 3 days, especially for a spinner in this form of cricket. It is hard work. And Rindle's been another good bowler for South Africa. He's bowled full up there for the batsman, no width, swung the ball a little bit. And I think Chris Harris has been good, and Damien Fleming from Australia has been outstanding.
So South Africa has used 4 bowlers, 2 overs apiece. Maximum of 3 overs allowed per bowler in this tournament. Super Max 8s. And away goes the ball. Robin Singh hitting it. And is it in the zone? 6 runs, so is it maximum result? Just had to wait for the man with the flag. Well, he's got it. So we'll just have to see whether it's gone into the max zone. Looks pretty straight from there.
Yeah, it looked a little bit wide. The footwork wasn't too much there, but it was just a great swing of the bat. It was beautifully balanced, and that's, to us, it looks like that's in the max zone. And we see it here. It's double the score if it's in the max zone. And it went straight through the max zone. So that, instead of being 6, the score doubles. That's a 12.
Lovely crunch through the offside. And will he get to the fence? Dave Callahan does wonderfully well at extra cover. So even though neither of these 2 sides can make the final, we're still seeing good desperation in the field and a good example set by the captain.
That's exactly right, and these sides just playing for a bit of pride. We see the balance of the footwork, just plays it out through the cover region, and these 2 sides are showing some pride and some desperation, and as you said, Dave, the captain leading by example.
Has to be quick here, but Gavaskar very quick between the wickets. He was backing up very well and just scampered through. Next match is New Zealand versus Pakistan, followed by a luncheon break, and then the final between Australia and New Zealand. Australia yet to lose a match. They were scheduled, those two sides, to play late yesterday afternoon, but the rain came down and caused that game to be abandoned. They each got a point for that, which put New Zealand on to a point too far away from any other side to catch them. So that's why the final has been decided. New Zealand to take on Australia. And this is the law that you'd like to see changed, Shane.
Yes, I think it's a bit stiff there, the bowl. I don't think that was a wide. Gavaska's foot movement wasn't quite to the pitch of the ball, and his back foot went away to leg stump, which meant it looked wider, and the way he did, he sort of bluffed the umpire into that decision, I think. And as you said, David, the wide, I think, should probably be the same as the no ball rule. Get a free hit the next delivery.
Yes, obviously the bowler is penalised for the no ball. He's made a mistake, and yet he's made a similar mistake with the ball if he bowls a wide, so I agree. We've seen a lot of wides, and it's just an entertaining part of the game that we don't have too many no balls in this form of cricket, but certainly plenty of wides, and perhaps that would bump the scoring up as well. And that's in the air towards long off, and Callaghan takes a good catch. Comfortable catch, just running around, and took it nice and neatly. So another Indian wicket goes.
Dave Callaghan really been in the thick of things this morning. He's got a run out from a misfield. He couldn't lay hand on it on a catch, and this one he was comfortably. We see Robin Singh really going for another max 6, and Dave Callaghan comfortably on the fence takes that. The actual catching in the outfield through the whole tournament has been very, very good. We haven't seen too many drop catches, and generally the fielding's been pretty good. He's out for 21. It's 3 for 91.
Robin Singh there just walking from the battlefield, if you like. So he's a very good striker of the ball, Robin Singh. Very much a bottom hand back foot player, which does get him into trouble on occasions. It's okay if you play that way and you're in good form, but I think if you have the combination of back foot and bottom hand as your major style of play, it can be a little bit of a problem if you are out of form. You tend to want to tug the ball across your body. You tend to have a lack of weight transference. So that puts you under a bit of pressure. So Atul Badadi comes in just to continue the line of left-handers. So Callaghan, a very comfortable catch, just running around to his right. He made it look very easy. It's not all that easy to take those catches. You're running along the side of the line of the ball, so you're running perpendicular to the flight of the ball. So he did it very well. So at the end of the over, India 3 for 92. So India chasing 141 for victory. Just around about right at the moment. Just need one really good over just to keep them in the game.
92 for 3 compares to 84 for 3.
Here we see the dismissal of Singh again. The ball just a little bit wide, just swung away from a little bit. Dave Callaghan made some good ground out in the fence and took a good captain's catch. And as I said before, the outfield catching has been very good. Kept his eye on the ball the whole way. And he made up amends for the one he didn't quite get a glove on before.
Just Kanitka, Joshi and Chowan to come for India. So Gavaskar is the man of the moment. He's at the non-striker's end. So Badadi clips it on the offside out, leading edge, and just falls safely, just short of John Kent. Victor Umpatsang is the bowler for South Africa. Lovely shot of Rohan Gavaskar. Nice orthodox cover drive.
Yeah, a lot rests on Gavaskar's shoulders now to get India home. They're on track at the moment, around 10 runs and over. And we see Gavaskar just playing a normal cover drive there. But a lot rests on his shoulder. He can't get out now. Most of the good players have gone. He has to make sure he's there right at the end with a few of the lesser batsmen to come.
Full toss. Need to clip it into the gap for 2. That's what he's done. Pretty hard with this heavy outfield to play a cover drive to the boundary. So make sure that you place it. So that's the equation. Less than 2 runs per ball. So that's a pretty gettable equation should India stay at 3 wickets down, which would mean that Gavaskar stays in. So wickets are what the South Africans are after. Mike Rindle, the fieldsman, down at mid-on or long-on for the left-hander. Great credit, Shane, to the turf manager. The pitch has been very good after yesterday's downpour. I know they put the covers on very quickly, but with the moisture that seeps through, the plastic of the cover would certainly attract the moisture. And in the air, and Kent is underneath it at cover point and out. So Badati comes in and he goes out.
Yeah, but Dady really didn't need to do that just at this stage. Gavaskar was going along nicely, just needed to stay there with him for a couple of overs, and came in, didn't quite get the feel of the wicket. You see his footwork, he just backed away a little bit rather than going to the ball, and he just sliced it out to deep cover, and Kent took an easy catch out in the outfield. He was out for 2, and the score is 4 for 98. We've got an interesting game on our hands now. Gavaskar holds the key to India's fortunes. He's just got to keep doing something very similar to what he's doing now. Just keep knocking around, getting the odd 1 or 2, and let the boundary come. It doesn't have to do anything silly.
Sunil Joshi coming into bat. And just another left-hander. So the Indians bringing the left-hander batsman in procession. This is why Joshi's at the crease. Shot not needed to be played as Shane Warne described. Because at the other end, Rohan Gavaskar is doing very well. So Badati really needs just to push it in, try and keep getting 2s. Instead he's out. So the last ball of Umpat Sang's over. Very happy catcher there in John Kent. So that is the end of the 10th over. So 4 overs remaining. India is 99 for 4, and replacing Shane Warne is Sunil Gavaskar. So just need a good over, don't they, India?
Yes, I think they need an over of about 20. That will take the pressure off. What is important, of course, is from the Indian point of view, is that they have lost 4 wickets. They have lost the wickets of the guys who could really hit the ball. Somebody like, say, Atul Bedare, who's a good hitter. He was out in the previous over. So I think that's a bit of a blow for the Indians. It's not going to be easy, but they've been running their 1s and 2s pretty hard. And I think that's important because they have to make every ball count.
So Dave Callaghan on strike. India 11 runs in front at this particular stage of the match. So single to Gavaskar, gives the strike to Joshi.
Well, India seems to have a surfeit of left-handers. We've had Robin Singh, Atul Bedare, Rohan Gavaskar, Sunil Joshi. There's Rishikesh Kanitkar, who bats left-handed as well. So a team can actually plan its strategy to an extent. It always is good to mix up the right and left hand combination.
And a swing, and well, he just stood there and tried to swing it. That may well have got an edge.
This is what is difficult to understand. There is a batsman at the other end who's been there for a while. So to have a wild heave at the ball like that, that's the first one that you faced. Doesn't Well, this is difficult to understand. What you have to do really is to try and give the batsman at the other end who's been there the strike rather than try to hit the boundaries first up straight away. It's not going to be possible. It's not easy in any grade of cricket.
Yes, pretty hard to understand and fathom what Joshi's trying to do. I think even we could wander out there and get a single, Sonny, couldn't we? With the only 6 fielders.
Well, that's exactly it. You know, he's just got to try and push the ball away, initially at least.
Well, it's very bad batting. The man at the other end's just sitting pat, and he's seen his newcomer come in and just play and miss at 3 deliveries, and worse than that, play and swing and miss.
If at all anybody has to be scored off, it's Dave Callaghan, because he's slower, he's at just about the ideal pace, and Sunil Joshi has just wasted this over so far.
And he's done very well, Sunil Joshi's kept the strike, and that won't please Gavaskar at the other end. So 11 overs gone, India 101 for 4.
Well, the South Africans certainly won't be unhappy about the fact that Sunil Joshi is going to keep most of the strike.
Well, a 7-ball over, and that's what happens. The frustration then gets put back onto the other batsman, and even Rohan Gavaskar had a swing and a miss. So that is the end of the 7-ball over, 101 for 4.
Compared to the 97 for 4.
Well, the rhythm is so important for a batsman. When he's in good form, what he needs is constant strike. He can afford to have the odd little breather at the non-striker's end, but if he's kept away at the non-striker's end for too long, he can lose the rhythm.
So pretty even game by those statistics. And Umpat Singh does very well. He realises he has to go and get the ball himself, restricted to a single. Yesterday I know that India was most unhappy, Sonny, that they had 2 5-ball overs in their game. So today the big fella's looking after them, giving them a 7-ball over.
Yes, that's a plus, but they have to.
A single though, good bowling. So you think he should have averaged better in international and first-class cricket?
Yes, he's got a very good record in first-class cricket in India, and we know that he can bowl, but somehow the concentration or the application has not quite been there for batting in Test matches and one-day cricket. Looks a little casual to me.
And slow full toss, always hard to hit off the medium pacer, and that proved to be difficult again to get anything more than a single straight. Very risky shot to play across the line if it's low and full.
He hasn't done his chances any harm at all, Sunil Joshi, with his bowling, but certainly if he can get a few runs on board, it'll help in his effort to make a comeback into the Indian team, because he's still got plenty of cricket in him, Sunil Joshi.
Hey, that's the one that opens the eyes up and gets the heart pumping from a batsman. So, will the umpire, Gavaskar, quite rightly looking at the square leg umpire for the delivery that was over shoulder height, the umpire not having a bar of it. Has to be over the shoulder height in the standing position, not the stance position. Or he could have got it for a fast full toss.
I think over the shoulder is only for the short pitch deliveries. I think a fast full toss got to be over the waist.
And nicely played. Heavy outfield again, restricting it to 3 runs if they're good enough. No, just the 2. Spot on, Sonny. The waist-high full toss, fast waist-high full toss.
Yes, that's got to be called a no ball by the square leg umpire. But I think what we saw over here, the Indians taking 2 runs when the ball had gone just a couple of yards away from the boundary. Now that's another factor which has set India back in limited overs cricket, the running between the wickets, not being able to convert the 2s into 3s or the 1s into 2s.
Giving yourself some room. And a single out to John Kent at cover. So just 2 overs remaining, and India is 4 for 109.
Still possible. They've got to get a few in the max zone. It'll ease that asking rate considerably if they get a few in the max zone.
To go, there's 32 runs required. Three overs, one to be bowled by Dave Callahan.
So Callahan to resume, and a lovely straight hit by Gavaskar, but it's getting under it is Dave Townsend in the max zone. If he drops it, it's a boundary. Yes, it is, or 6. So it's right underneath the commentary position. So the umpire has signalled 4, a drop catch 4, and a double bonus. Just what Sonny was talking about. Nice to see the youngster listening to his dad hit him in the max zone, and he's got 8 runs.
Yes, that's a risk that one has to take now, rather than look for the 4s and the boundaries or the 6s at the away zone.
And one-handed shot down, misfielded down at backward point by Mike Rindle. So handy for India, they'll run for 3. So in fact the umpire's called for the third umpire. It was a very casual bit of running on that occasion by Joshi. It's exactly what you were talking about, Sonny.
Yes, exactly right. First and foremost, he holds the bat in the wrong hand when he's running. Now he took a little time to turn, and that allowed Mike Rindle time to get the ball in. And look what he's doing. He's not even grounding his bat. And that's unforgivable at this level. You've got to ground your bat. He's not even ground his bat, although his bat is over the crease. I think he's out.
Well, oh, he's hit the umpire. That's hit the wicketkeeper flush in the face. So I hope that he's okay. Into the nose or the teeth. Just hope that it hasn't done any serious damage, because that appeared to be travelling quite quickly off Dave Callahan. Hit him on the nose, so blood coming out of the nose, and always a danger for wicket keepers.
Well, it's climbed up and it's hit him flush on the nose. I do believe that today you need to have the protective visor being used by the wicket keepers. It's not just the ball, but it could be the bails that could, get off and hit you in the eye. And I think you need to have protection for the wicket keepers as well.
Yes, we saw in that recent Indian tour, and Shane Warne spoke about it at length yesterday. Both Nyan Mongia and Ian Healy keeping quite often with helmets on. And this just clips the bat. And flush into the nose, and oh, that is a very serious injury. In fact, what we must say is that he shouldn't actually have to be there, because Joshi should have been given out the ball before, as Morne van Vach is putting some ice on the nose, just trying to stop the bleeding and the swelling. So he looks a little bit worse for wear. He seems in quite good spirits, which is the main thing. Just a bit of a shock. So we've had a very eventful over. A drop catch which was in the max zone, which gave Rohan Gavaskar 8 runs. And Dave Townsend should have got back. I think he felt he was a bit closer to the rope than what he actually was. He had a metre or so. Then the next ball, Sunil Joshi did something unforgivable, and that is not ground his bat. He was way past the crease, bat well in the air, way past the crease with the bat, and the bails are off, and the third umpire for some reason has deemed that safe. Then the next ball, the broken nose. So Dave Callahan to resume in a very eventful over here. And a bit of normal cricket.
That not grounding the bat is something which happens very often in Indian cricket. You need coaches to tell you. I've seen quite a few of the Karnataka players running with their bats up in the air. Rahul Dravid's perhaps the one exception who grounds his bat. But we've seen quite a few players at the international level from Karnataka who keep the bat hanging in the air. They don't drag the bat into the crease.
Important delivery, this one for India. And just a single. So Josie has retained the strike for the last over. So we've got 1 over to go, and it's going to be a pretty interesting over. So India is 4 for 123, needing 141 for victory.
At the end of the penultimate
Updating Fox Sports News, American Brian Watts has a 2-shot lead going into the final round of the British Open. Mark O'Meara, Jesper Parnevik and Jim Furyk share second spot. Mick Doohan will start from third on the grid for tonight's German 500cc Grand Prix. Italy's Max Biaggi will start from pole. And South Africa has beaten Australia 14 points to 13 in last night's Tri-Nations Series played in Perth. Details Fox Sports News at 6 o'clock on Fox Sports 2.
18 for victory. Josie on strike, just 5 from 10 deliveries, and not good enough, given that 3 or 4 of those have been wild swings when he first walked to the crease. At the beginning of an over, all he had to do was just push the single and give it back to Gavaskar, and that didn't occur. So he's got some smart thinking to do here, Josie. He has to, I think, just get a single and give it back to the batsman at the other end. So risky with the fine leg and third man inside the circle. And Gavaskar will get back for 2. Very quick between the wickets. Good running. So that's okay. Just risky with an opening bowler at this stage of the innings, Sonny, to have your 2 men inside the circle behind the stumps.
Yes, it's got to be very accurate, because if there's an inside edge or even a thick outside edge, it can go for a boundary. So the bowler's got to be very, very accurate.
16 required from 5 deliveries. And that's it. Beautifully bowled by Mulligan George. Very full and on the stumps. And that may have broken the stump, but that's the perfect delivery, particularly with a batsman who's wandering across the crease trying to swing on the offside.
A wild swing by Sunil Joshi, but he really had no option but to go for the big hit, trying to make a little bit of room, and slashed the ball to the offside, missing it completely, and the middle stump knocked back. Sunil Joshi is out for 7. India are now 5 wickets down for 125.
The
King of Malaysia arriving at the ground. I don't think he's driving though. So a great supporter of cricket is the King of Malaysia. One of the reasons that the Commonwealth Games, due to start on the 11th of September, does have cricket for the first time in the Commonwealth Games. Something the King of Malaysia really pushed for. So he should be well pleased with the work being done for this particular tournament. And this is why Kanitka is at the crease. Just a wild swing from Josie. He certainly didn't show too many brains out there this afternoon.
Well, no option really. He's got to go for the big hits. You can't really push and prod and get to victory now.
Trying hitting the ball into the max zone, and that's what Rohan Gavaskar will have to try and do now. He really needs to hit a 12 off this delivery. A maximum 6 with a double score.
It's not going to be easy hitting a quick polar straight over the top of his head into the max zone, but he's got to give it a go. It's not such a bad idea. Get your breath back. You've been at the crease for a long time. Whether the laces actually came off or whether it was gamesmanship, doesn't matter. You got to get your breath back.
Where did the youngster learn that from, Sonny?
Not from me.
From his mum?
Probably from his mum, yes.
So 3 balls remaining, 15 for victory, India. A boundary required here. Good bowling. Really good bowling. He took a bit of a punt, did Mulligan George, that the left-hander would go towards the leg side to give himself room to clip it through the offside. So he bowled it full onto the pad. So very intelligent bowling.
Yes, it is. Following the batsman as he made room to try and hit it over the top on the offside. But really, the aim should be straight now. Hit it over the top of the bowler, if you can.
"13 runs from just 2 deliveries. And he's gone for the straight hit, got the outside edge towards backward point. And they'll get 2. Connector will look for 3, but you won't be able to get it. So the game's still alive.
One ball remaining.
A max 6 required to win the game. And that is straight back over the bowler's head. There's the max zone in front of the black sight screen. It goes over the rope within that area, around about a 40-metre area. It will be a 12. So India a chance to win last ball, and Gavaskar tried for it, but he got a boundary top edge. So that max zone doesn't count. It's only the max zone in front of the bowler. So young Gavaskar played very well, but not enough for victory for India. They finished with 134, finishing 7 short.
He certainly had the right idea. He wanted to hit the ball straight into the max zone. That was the only way India was going to win. Just got a thick outside edge. It's gone for a boundary, but not good enough for India to win. South Africa have won their match. India tried, but I don't think they really quite applied their minds as to how to approach that daunting target. 140 is a big target indeed, but somehow I got the impression that they didn't quite apply their minds in going for the target.
So the camaraderie that we've seen throughout this tournament on show again. South Africans very pleased with themselves, and the Indians just strolling from the ground. Gavaskar nearest to us, and Kanitka the other man. So well done to South Africa. And there is His Majesty the King of Malaysia, who's just come into the ground with the famous MCC tie on. And there, in pursuit of 140, India finished 7 shy. Very good innings by Rohan Gavaskar, 66 from 39 deliveries, but no help down the bottom by Badati or Joshi. They had plenty of time, particularly until Badati when he came in. There was probably 3 or 4 overs remaining, and yet both he and Sunil Joshi scored just 9 from 15 deliveries. And that's what hurt most. So well done to South Africa. They brought a young side. Their main side is playing in England. The South African A side is away playing. So Dave Callaghan and Mike Rindle, 2 experienced players. The rest of the youngsters from the academy. Some of those youngsters, in fact, have not even played first-class cricket. So well done to the South Africans. So South Africa, they're bowling, and they won by 6 runs. And down near the change rooms, Robin Jackman is there, and with